I have been coming to this beach to photograph cars since I was 17 years old, and my Shark and my 55 Cadillac. We just hit the show field a few days ago, Mike Boom and myself, with a whole class of cars, including the Salerno Special. This is a 1959 Devin that's been modified, and we have all the photos, and we'll put those online so people can see it, history of the car. But this is a Devin, and it's an unusual Devin, but it's not unusual in terms of what Bill Devin expected. Bill Devin wanted you to build a race car. Bill Devin wanted you to build a sports car. He wanted you to build your car using a Devin body. And what Salvatore Salerno wanted to do, and starting in 59, was take the Devin body, which is typically very narrow, and actually make it taller so you could actually get in the car and sit more deep in the cockpit. And this car is actually much taller, which does change the look of the car. And he did that. He sectioned the body. So, you know, we talked about sectioning bodies in the 1950s with custom cars and lowering it. He actually sectioned the body and raised it and made it much taller. It has a lot more robust. It's a little thicker. Not that Cunningham in the early 50s did thicker, taller cars in the early 50s. We're not used to seeing this done with the Devin, and he did it in an extraordinary way. What you're looking at is probably the result of 5 or 6 years. He started in 1959, and he finished up in the late, well, not late 60s, probably 66 or 7. But a person who owns the car their whole life, which he did, continues to make refinements their whole life. And sometimes their job is, on some cars, not this one, is to actually take it back to what it was actually originally. This is one of those rare finds. This is one of the hen's teeth. This is actually a car in original shape. Robin James from Canada, part of our Undiscovered Classics group, and Undiscovered Classics friend and associate, took this car over a period of weeks and put it back to running shape. He did brand new brakes, which are TR3. It's TR3 based chassis and brakes, and the engine's not TR3. The engine's actually a 1952 F-head. F-heads came out, it's a Hurricane F-head by Willys. F-heads came out in 1952, and it's by Willys, called the Hurricane. If we open it up, you'll see the Hurricane stamped on the head. And they were a bit more powerful, and they were pretty exciting in 1952. You couldn't get them in Jeepsters. Sometimes people retrofitted their Jeepsters with an F-head. But an F-head means that some of the valves, half the valve train is above the engine, above the head, and the other is actually inside the block. So it's not a flathead, it's not an overhead valve, it's half and half. Rare kind of car, rare beast, very reliable engine, at least for us. All the Kaiser Darians, all 435 of them, were built with F-heads. You could order them on Willys and Willys cars, the Willys Aero, starting in 1952. The Excalibur race cars by Brooks Stevens in 1952-53 had F-head. It was a hot engine back then, and he used it starting in 1959 with the 3-speed Willys overdrive transmission. And the overdrive is in place, and in fact, everything about the car is original. When I say we, I mean Robin James polished this all out, went through the brakes, went through the electrical system. In fact, it had been sitting in a garage for about 40 years, 30 to 40 years since the death of Salvatore Salerno. Robin James got this running, went through electrical systems, got the headlights, the high beams, the starter, everything back and working, taillights, all the gauges that were working before are working again. We ended up putting a brand new fuel tank, aluminum. We had custom built because the old tank had been sitting with gas for too many years. So we built and upgraded an aluminum tank, which actually fits really now. And we mounted a fire extinguisher in the car. It's always safety, no matter what kind of car you have. We try to pay attention if there was any kind of details that needed refinement inside the cockpit. Very few did, but we actually put a plaque on the passenger side built by Salvatore Salerno, and title still in his name, which is kind of cool. And we also put the Hurricane plaque, Hurricane 161, on the tachometer. There was a place for a plaque. So we wanted to honor both Salerno, and we wanted to honor the engine. Hurricane engine is pretty rare, F-head in one of these cars. So you don't see them very often, except in Kaiser Darians or the very first Excaliburs. There was, the other thing with F-head is there was one in the Johnny Dark Wildfire, had an F-head engine in it as well. And so the first few Woodhill Wildfires may have had, at least be able to confirm at least 2, probably 3 or 4 had F-head Willys engines on their shorty post chassis, which then became Woodhill Wildfire chassis based on the Mameco design. So tributes to Robin James for getting this all back and running in wonderful driving shape. And he took it out and showed the car at Amelia, and actually did very well. We won an award with the car, and I should say Robin won an award with the car. A class award honoring the car, its history, and a lot to do with Robin's assessment and repair and bringing it back to life of the Salvatore Salerno Devin.
Exactly
Wow.
as Robin said.
Very nice.
This could be you, new potential
I have no
buyer.
hair. Those days are long gone.
No. I didn't mean you, Jeff. I meant the potential buyer. This could be you.
Robin James. I have appeared a couple of times preparing this car for Jeff Hacker, and the judges were most impressed with the car. Not from what anything I did, other than revealing what was here. This is a beautiful survivor car, and that's what the judges liked about it. There may be cars here in better condition when it comes to the finish of the car, but what represents a home-built car and a quality home-built car is right here. I can tell you what I found while building the car. So the body is being raised, it's deeper in the seating area. So I'm assuming the builder was maybe a taller man, maybe had some stature, because it fits me. And not only does it fit me in the car, but I can drive with my boots on. This is a car I don't have to take my shoes off. And he's done that fitting an inline six behind the front axle. This is going to be a very well-weighted, well-proportioned, good driving car. So as we can see, if you take the camera to the center line of the axle, the engine is a good 6 or 8 inches behind that, making this a front mid-engine car. On the 88-inch wheelbase, I put a jack under it to find the midpoint for balance, and it was around the 42-inch part, and that's without a driver in the car. So a balanced car on the road, this will be perfect. I have a lot of respect for the builder of this car, in that the Devin didn't have a flip front end. So not only did he create that, but how well is it finished? We have inner wheel tubs, we have seals that come down so that the engine compartment is tight. And then preservation-wise, and how well the car has lasted, you can tell the details in here. It's not shiny and painted, but everything in here, save for the water pump, is how we found the car. It's up and running on its original ignition points, wires, plugs, and I'm sure we'll replace them, but I have a lot of respect for a car that'll come back to life with all the parts that it began life with. As they get old, they get abused. And this car was always been in respectful hands that has never been abused. And that's why it took a ribbon. Not me or anything else, but the caretakers of the car before us and the original builder. That's why we put his name on the side of the car.
Hey guys, Mike at Undiscovered Classics here. Hope you guys are enjoying the video that's queuing up. Just wanted to take a minute and say thanks for subscribing and following the channel. It really means a lot when you guys comment and share our videos. If you get the chance, subscribe to the channel, like, maybe even share the video, and we'd love to interact with you in the comments. So appreciate it and enjoy.